She just wants to be a mum. It's very common. Kids are very important for females, I understand.
He's got it. He's figured out women. He's done it, everyone.
Right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are covering Maths week 2. Right, so episode 7 opens with Tori and Jack basically going over the big argument at the dinner party about whether Jack had a girlfriend at the time of applying for Married at First Sight or not. And really what we're watching here is Tori just completely lying to herself. Yeah, they're just jealous of us. Yeah, we're the best couple ever. And then she has a really telling quote where she says like, it just sucks because all the other girls are going to go like, oh, you know, you're lying and I'm under your spell, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, babe, you are under his spell. Like he's got you under his thumb. What on earth is going on behind closed doors for Jack to have earned such a loyal wife already after being a complete bellend? It's been like a week and she is already his ride or die. She's already defending him publicly. She's already buying all his bullshit when it is so clearly bullshit. I am genuinely like perplexed and stunned. Next, unfortunately, Collins is back. In the best twist ever in the last episode, Collins and Natalie left. How good, right? Collins did his whole weird avant-garde performative like, oh, I'm really sad I'm going. Now, in episode 7, jump scare, Collins is back.
Hello! What the hell, mate? How you going?
Yep, I know. They like open the door. Natalie's like, oh, actually, let's figure this out. Oh, what do you know? Collins is there. And then it leads to the most awkward, painful, uncomfortable moment ever where they're just standing there in silence. Like, I can't. They like reunite and go, let's give this marriage another shot. Let's make it awesome. And then just hard cuts them standing there in complete and utter silence. And it holds for so long. Again, this show is just a masterwork in cringe comedy.
That's what I need to sort out. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the last weekly recap I talked about these evil Machiavellian tasks that they get the couples to do for like confession/honesty week. And in this week, they bring back another banger that never fails to blow up relationships. It's the phone swap challenge. And if you don't know what this challenge is, it's literally no deeper than you give your partner your phone and go, yeah, go have a look. I love this task because in the whole show, there's never been a moment where someone's going through the other person's phone and goes, oh, wow, there's all these photos of you being a cute dad. Or, oh, wow, I didn't know you were so in shape. Oh, wow, you're so hardworking. You've got all this stuff organized. No, every single time they just scroll and scroll and scroll until they find evidence of like cheating or like previous partners or like something that will make them sick to their stomach. Every single time without fail. And everyone that engages in the phone swapping task knows it. No one just like has a quick squiz and goes, yeah, cool phone, whatever. They just sit there and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, go 5, 6, 7, 8 years back, and then eventually just scroll until they go, who's this? And just get their feelings hurt. Hilarious. This one's no different. Basically, Tori takes Jack's phone and just starts scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. He's trying to like watch in the reflection what she's scrolling to, and eventually she goes, oh fuck. She finds photos of Jack proposing to a woman. I love this because at this point Tori has had to deal with 2 women already and it's been a week. She's had to deal with her man signing up for Married at First Sight and being with someone at the same time, and now she's also had to deal with the fact that he's actually gone all the way and proposed to someone before and has kept the photos, and she just has to sit there and deal with that. Like if she has any jealousy or insecurity complexes at all, they must just be firing on all cylinders. But in all honesty, given who Jack is, this could have been so much worse. I was genuinely expecting like an unhinged amount of sex tapes or nudes. You know, he actually mentions the fact that he feels like he deletes everything that's inappropriate in between relationships, but he goes, oh, you know, some things might slip through. So it seems like to me, he didn't think this was that inappropriate. And yeah, just given who Jack was, I expected way worse. I expected her to come across something that she genuinely should never have seen in her life. In terms of this, it's really awkward and uncomfortable. Given who Jack is, genuinely not as bad as I thought.
She just come across a picture of me and my ex-fiance when I was proposing. That is a part of my past and it was special.
Why are they still on here? Like, why are they still on here? Get rid of them. I actually feel like physically, like I want to be sick.
Another painful moment in this episode is the Tin Man and Lucinda fighting. Basically, Tin Man literally goes up to her and goes, this is so awkward. I'm walking on eggshells. Let's hash it out. Let's have an argument. Let's talk it out.
Let's have a chat. I feel tension. Like tense.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you feeling tense about?
For the past hour and a half, I just felt I've just been walking around on eggshells.
She then has a really mature discussion about how she feels abandoned and ignored and dismissed, which he has been doing this whole time. And then he gets completely defensive, starts swearing, starts arcing up and goes, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. It's like, bro, you started the conversation. Like, you literally went, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Let's hash this out. She very calmly and maturely responded. And then he's like, no, I'm done. I can't do this.
I would like to come closer to you.
Okay, we end this talk now? I've had enough.
On top of that, can I just say, why did he sign up for the show? This guy signed up for a show where it is married at first sight. The whole point is to be thrown in on the deep end. And he's sitting there on like day 2 and he's like, I can't get any time alone. I've never lived with someone before. It's just way too much. She's way too much. And yes, I know they played a montage of her literally never leaving him alone at all. But they also show that he's made not one effort to like take her out for a dinner or watch a movie with her or like kind of cuddle. It's so awkward. And personally, I feel like if he just went, you know what? I'm someone who needs a bit of alone time sometimes, but let's go out, let's have a good time, and then I'll do that, then they would be fine. She's mature enough to understand that. The issue is he hasn't touched her, he hasn't held her, he hasn't done anything with her. Like, he just ignores her all day, and then he's like, why is she getting annoyed? It's like, because you're not doing anything. Why did you sign up for this show? I actually get where she's coming from, because they only have 8 weeks on this show to make a relationship work, and he's trying to avoid her the whole time. On another note, she's like so sexually open and like keen to do stuff with him, and he's like genuinely couldn't be less interested. There's this scene where they're on the bed and she's like, what are you into sexually? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. And she's like, nah, come on, like open up. And he's like, anything that the doctor touches, like I don't want you touching. And she's like, oh, okay, so no prostate stimulation. I heard that's really good. He's like, absolutely not. And like the conversation just ends there. It's so funny. Like, she's so eager. She finds him a spunk and he just can't do it. Again, I don't know why he signed up for the show. I know he suffered a recent loss and he's grieving, but it's just like, why are you here? On top of that, the way he conducts himself in these arguments genuinely feels like some deep anger bubbling under the surface that I feel like we're going to see come out. But oh my god, the highlight of this episode 4 is Jayden's confession. I did a whole video talk about this, so I'm just going to show that here. The only other thing you need to know about Jayden and Eden before we get into this story is that when Eden was younger, she had a long-term boyfriend who cheated on her with her best friend. So she lost both her best friend and her boyfriend in one hit, and it's trauma that she's never really recovered from, and it's led to serious trust issues. So now that we know that, brace yourself for Jayden's confession. So basically, Jayden's talking to the camera and he's going, yeah, look, like I'm really nervous about this confession. I'm really nervous about what I have to tell her. I hope she takes it well. I mean, who knows?
Maybe the first thing she finds out about my past, she finds out about some things that I've done. I don't know how she's going to react.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, is it that he's cheated when he was younger? Or maybe he used to do porn? Maybe he had a serious nude leak scandal? Like, what could it be? But again, I'm telling you, nothing could prepare me for what his confession was. He then sits her down and says, hey, so I've got my confession ready. And if we can get through this, we can get through anything. At this point, I'm sitting there going, oh, fuck, like this might be really bad. But so far, Jayden's been so sweet, so emotionally understanding and like well-rounded. What could this be? And then he tells this story where each moment I'm sitting there waiting for it to be over, going, surely it's not going to get worse than this, and it just keeps getting worse. So the story is as follows. He sits Eden down, someone who has been cheated on, and when they cheated, it was with her best friend. And then he goes, hey, so in my previous relationship, I was cheated on multiple times. I had multiple guys coming up and telling me that they were sleeping with my girlfriend. And eventually I had enough and I confronted my girlfriend about it and was talking to her about ending the relationship. And then I said the only way that I would stay with her is if I slept with her best friend. So already I was like, oh my god.
My ex-girlfriend cheated on me. She was going on dinner dates, movie dates, and I even had guys openly admit to me in person that they had slept with her. I told her that I was willing to give her another chance. I'm gonna sleep with her best friend.
I was just hoping that the story ended there, but it kept going. It kept fucking going. Just cut it there, like that was a pretty dark moment of you, but surely like it ended there. But no, he keeps going and it gets worse. He essentially reveals that he got his girlfriend to go along with this. He reached out to multiple of her friends until he found one that agreed. But then when he finally got a friend to agree with it, not only did he sleep with the friend, but he made his girlfriend watch him do that. Insane. My jaw was on the floor.
I'm gonna sleep with her best friend while she watches. One of her friends agreed to do it. So after a little bit of chatting for a few days, it happened.
This is an absolutely wild confession. There is so much to get into here. So much to get into here. I have so many questions. I could not believe what I was watching unfold to me live on TV. Like, genuinely a psychopathic admission. A Machiavellian level confession. Such a villainous thing to admit. Like, sociopathic behavior. And the thing is, I get being hurt. I get having some like really fucked up thoughts in that moment. Like the fact that he actually committed to it, acted it out, and made his girlfriend watch, and he's now admitting this on live TV. There's so much to get into here. Like, where do we even start? I actually don't know. I think we're going to go character by character. So there are 3 people in this situation we need to talk about. There's the best friend of the girlfriend, there's the girlfriend, and then there's Jayden. So let's go character by character. So, for the best friend, why on earth did the best friend admit to this? Did the best friend want to sleep with Jayden the whole time they were together and then like jumped at the opportunity when it was presented to her? Also, who presented it to her? Was it Jayden? Did Jayden go up to her and go, hey, my girlfriend's been cheating on me. Can you help me get back at her and get fucked by me in front of her? Like, is that how it was approached? Or did the girlfriend approach her best friend and say, hey, I've fucked up with Jayden. I've been cheating on him. And he says the only way he'll stay with me is if you help me out and get fucked by him in front of me. Like, can you do that for me? Like, help a sister out. Otherwise, I won't be able to stay with Jayden. Like, how on earth was it approached? Did they all make a group chat? Like, what is going on? How did they even organize it? Like, what an awkward group chat that must be. Can you imagine? Like, hey, I'm looking to punish my girlfriend in the most evil way possible. Can we do that tonight? Like, are you free? Like, yeah, BYO birth control. See you there. But good Lord, Jayden's confession, like the promos were hyping it up. I'm like, oh yeah, how bad can it be really? And he goes, you know, like I slept with her best friend. I'm like, not great, but maybe. And then he goes, and I made her watch. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? What are you doing? All right, so next we have episode 8. And unfortunately, it opens with Collins. And this time he's doing the photo ranking task. Now, I actually want to talk about this because I find it really interesting. Collins is awkward. And also Collins is really disingenuous. That's the whole vibe that the MAFS fan base and the people, the contestants on MAFS are getting. He just doesn't sit right. He feels really fake. And obviously being in a relationship with someone who feels so fake like Collins would be really hard for Natalie. So they're given that diabolical photo ranking task where basically they have to rank every single contestant and then their partner by physical appearance. Natalie gives this whole speech to the camera about how she doesn't feel she's as attractive as the women on the board. Now, Collins passes the mother of all shit tests and does actually place her first. However, he is so not convincing about the fact that he actually finds her like the hottest. It's just so painful.
From day dot, when I turned around, I saw someone who was just like beaming, glowing, and the best way I know is smile in your eyes.
And Natalie basically feels that straight away, you know? She says to the camera, like, I just don't believe I'm as pretty as these women, and I don't think Collins is telling the truth.
I do doubt what he says at times. If he starts to do that surface level performance,
Yeah.
and he ranks me higher than gorgeous women like Eden and Cass and Tori, I felt like it was just an easy answer.
Now, there are a few things to get into here. If your partner is lying to spare your feelings, that's still sweet. If she doesn't feel that she's the most attractive, it's unfair to put that on Collins. Collins is trying to do the right thing here, to be fair to Collins. However, the reason I don't think she's been unreasonable here, and I still see Collins as the problem, is because he's just so not convincing. You don't feel like he actually finds her attractive at all. He hasn't held her, he hasn't touched her, he didn't knock down the pillow fort or try and engage in any intimacy at all. So why would she believe him? Again, she finds him disingenuous. She doesn't think he's ever telling the truth, which she brings up in the commitment ceremony. And on top of that, when he puts her first, he starts saying all these little like microaggression things that, like, if you're an observant viewer or just an observant like partner, you go, oh my God, what are you getting at? Like, for example, she goes, oh, you know, I didn't think you'd put me first because, you know, I'm not like a fitness god like these girls are, or I'm not like a beach babe. And he goes, oh yeah, but like, you know, you're getting there, like you're working on it, aren't you? And it's like, what the fuck? Why would you say that, dude? Why would you say that? Like, really? And he said that as if that was gonna like melt her heart. Like, oh yeah, like you're not as hot as these girls, but like you've got room to grow. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Colin?
You're doing physical exercise. I think you're gonna look good. Yeah.
Whoa, what the fuck?
All the girls lined up, I would 100% still pick Nat, definitely. Even in that photo. I would.
Why did you say that? Stop talking.
And you know what? You can't excuse this as like, oh, he's never been in a relationship before. Like, this is genuinely just like weird antisocial cluelessness. Now, next we've got a follow-up of Jaden's confession. He talks to Eden and he starts going like, yeah, you know, like I was in a dark place. Like I wouldn't do it now. And like I was just so hurt and I just wanted to hurt her back. It's like, where was all this information when you first told this story? When you first told this story, bro, you literally just went, yeah, my ex cheated on me and I said the only way I'd like get back with her and forgive her is if I could bang her friend, and then I banged her friend and I made her watch. And I don't regret it. And that's where you left it. And it's like, dude, you genuinely sound like a supervillain, like a complete sociopath. But then the next day he starts giving all these details that clarify his position and makes him sound like a better person. It's like, why would you not include this in your original confession? Like Eden literally starts saying like, oh, this would have been really good to know the day you told me. On top of that, I have to give mad credit to Eden here. The way she carries herself and the points she makes are like genuinely seriously perceptive. She starts saying like, oh, well, I'm just scared like if I wrong you at all, how you would punish me. Like if I slip up slightly, you're gonna do something really mean.
Yeah. For me, reactions and being irrational is like the one thing that I really, really don't like. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work for me at all. So like, I just need you to be remorseful of things that you want to grow from. I sit and think if I was in the same position right now, I wouldn't do it. Okay.
That's how I think of it.
I find so much humor in the bit where he goes, yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is like, I need to start, you know, thinking with my head instead of letting my emotions get the best of me.
But it is going to have to be something that I have to work on when things come up that I'm hurt and heartbroken or upset about. I'm going to have to learn to handle those situations using my head and not my emotions.
As if a normal response to letting the emotions get the best of you is making someone watch you fuck someone else. Like that's just a pretty standard, oh, whoops, I let my emotions get the best of me and I accidentally slipped and fell into your best friend and made you watch. Sorry, my bad. Like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Eden backs him up on this and goes, yeah, I really need you to start thinking with your head and like being emotionally mature. And it's like, I think a 13-year-old could tell you that what Jayden did probably isn't ever the right thing to do. Ever. Next, we have Tristan's letter. Basically, Tristan has a confession letter where he opens up to Cassandra and says, the reason I haven't been able to be intimate with you is because I used to be really overweight. I experienced bullying. I experienced a high amount of rejection. I would get rejected by girls and then they'd laugh because I was fat and I had the audacity to even ask. Cassandra handles it really well and is there for him while still really holding firm that she does want to be intimate and she does want to connect with her partner. I find this interesting because I know trauma isn't a competition, but it's really interesting that Cassandra has been through what she's been through given the loss of her previous boyfriend and her mother, and seemingly so far has to do most of the emotional heavy lifting in the relationship. She is his support system and I don't think he is her support system. Now maybe her trauma was so substantial or she had a better family that she just had to get on with it, but I'm hoping as their relationship progresses it isn't just her picking up his emotional baggage, especially given what is revealed in the commitment ceremony, which we'll get to soon. Basically their arc in this episode ends with Tristan finally opening up intimacy wise and kissing Cassandra, and she seems genuinely elated and excited, which is so sweet because she's had a previous relationship of 8 years. I assume they were physically intimate, but like she still takes these small victories with Tristan really, really seriously, and that's just so lovely to see. Because I think Tristan needs someone like that. Next, we have the podcast host fight. I believe his name is Ben. So Ben, the podcast host, and the girl that had the sassy cousin, basically again this really bizarre fight. They're given another diabolical like confessions week task where essentially they rank what's important to them. This includes sex, financial stability, family values, etc., etc. They rank on a board and then compare their boards. And the woman in this relationship put family values as like number 1 and he put it at like actually like number 8 or 9, right? So then they start having a chat about, would you want a family? Would you want kids? And he's finding every single way he can to, instead of just saying, no, to be honest, if I was left alone to my own devices, I would not want kids. He's finding every single way he can to not just say that. You know, she goes, if you don't want kids, I don't want to be in this relationship. So he sits there and goes, oh shit, I can't tell the truth. So instead he words it like a complete nonce. And he goes, I'm open to the idea of not having kids. And she's like, I want kids. Like, I want kids. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I'm open to like not having them. And it's like, who are you trying to convince? Like, she's saying she wants kids. You're not having to come on board with her on that. You have to come on board with her about the fact that you want kids. And so she makes it adamantly clear. She goes, if you don't want kids, this will not work. And he goes, oh, well, I mean, I could maybe see myself one day wanting kids, but yeah, no, like I can be open to not having kids.
I'm very open to being with someone who does not want to have children. I'm also very much open to the possibility of having a family and having kids.
I'm very open to being with someone who does not want to have children.
Well, but
Why would you?
But then in the most like insidious misogynistic power move ever, he goes, actually, let me flip this on you. And he goes, you know, look at you. Like, are you just wanting kids with the first guy you get paired with? It's like, dude, that is you. Like, you signed up to be on Married at First Sight and now you're giving her shit for wanting to like start something with you. Like, what is wrong with you? So he goes like, oh, I don't want to be with someone who just wants kids because like, you know, they need kids and like they're paired with anyone.
But it's not, well, I'll have children with anybody, don't care.
I'm not just going to have children for the sake of it because my body clock. No way.
Job,
And they get
got all his teeth, that'll do. They said,
what the fuck?
And she starts crying and she's like, what on earth is going on? I just want to know if you want kids because it seems like you don't. And he goes, again, like I'm open to it, but I'm not just going to have kids with anyone. Basically implying like, I don't want kids. And if I did, probably not with you. So bizarre. My big frustration in this argument is just his wording. His whole like, I'm open to not having kids. It's like, that's not what she's asking. She's asking if you want kids. Stop trying to dodge the question and just grow a pair.
so if I were to meet you in a pub, hey, how you doing? You want to have kids? Instead of I'm open to not having kids, you'd probably walk.
Wait,
What?
I'm so confused.
Why is he wording it like a dickhead?
By the way, he literally says to her, oh, you're being sensitive or something. Like, wild thing to do.
What?
I understand you're a very sensitive woman.
Then he talks to the camera and has the audacity on live TV to go, you know, it's really hard. Like women, sorry, he doesn't say women. He doesn't say women. But he talks to the camera and he goes, you know, like it's clearly a sensitive thing. And, you know, like it's clearly sensitive for females because, you know, females want kids. Kids are important to females. As if they're like a different breed. He is so fucking weird.
She just wants to be a mum. It's very common. Kids are very important for females, so I understand.
He's got it. He's figured out women. He's done it, everyone.
I don't know what on earth happened with this guy. This guy had potential. This guy had promise. Fuck this guy. He's done. I don't know what that was. I never want to see him again on the show. Done. Get rid of him. Don't like him. We have the photo ranking task with Johnny and Lauren. Just hilarious, to be honest. Like, it's just a really funny photo ranking task. And this is how it's done because Lauren clearly finds Jono attractive. So the way she photo ranks here is just expertly handled because she's being honest. She's going, he's cute. I like his bum. I like this. I like that. Puts Jono first. And Jono obviously isn't getting insecure about any of this because he can feel the whole time that he's going to be placed first. This is how the photo ranking task should be done. It's reconfirming who you find attractive and the fact that you obviously find your partner the most attractive while also being honest. And it's hilarious because she's also honest about who she puts last. Brief side note on the photo ranking task. The way the photo ranking task should be done is when Kerry did it, when Duncan did it. It's this thing of like, hey, I'll be honest with you. Here's what I find attractive. And it's almost like giving subtle clues to your partner like, oh, I like people that are bubbly this way, or I like people that do this X, Y, Z, without being completely condescending and gross. Like if you can thread that needle, if you can walk that line of like, yeah, like I find someone who's warm and bubbly and passionate about things attractive. I like people that put effort into their appearance, blah, 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 blah. The partner can be seen there and going, okay, I can work with that. I can do that. And then you put them first and they feel great. The way not to do it is how that fucking old guy did it, where he's just putting the photos up and going like, oh yeah, like I love some dark skin. And then hard cuts to his white wife. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Girls with dark skin are very much my type, okay?
Yes.
So these two ladies are going to get ranked 1 and 2.
Wow.
If you're doing the photo ranking task and actually getting caught up in their beauty in front of your wife, what are you doing? They're so clearly failing the task. Like just sitting there going like, oh, I love dark skin. Oh, I love a tight little booty. Oh, you know, and then being like, oh, like if you worked out, you could have a tight little booty, darling. And then putting your wife third. Like the old guy literally put his wife third after going on and on and on and on about how good these women's bodies were. Like unhinged, insane. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? But now we are up to what you all came for. Episode 9, the unhinged, unbelievable commitment ceremony. The first of the season, by the way, and it's this good. So let's just speed run. The first couple that sits down is Tristan and Cassandra, and the whole thing is essentially about Tristan. Tristan basically opens up about how he hates himself. He says that with his chest. They go, do you struggle with liking yourself? And he goes, oh yeah, I hate myself. And look, my girlfriend and I like talked about this like extensively, trying to unpack this. But the thing is, I don't think he realizes the weight of what he's saying and the weight that puts on his partner. Like, throwing that out there into the ether for her to like pick up the pieces of is a lot to do, but I also commend him for being honest. And I think the judge's response here of like trying to get him to love himself, trying to focus on the positive of what Cassandra says, is a really gorgeous response, and actually something that a lot of people watching at home could kind of learn from. Like, genuinely like a really good like therapy session. However, I guess my concern for their relationship is the fact that like she will always pick up his emotional baggage and whether he has the capacity to actually help her. Again, she's had some serious trauma of her own, and I'm wondering if he has the emotional capability and the strength to be able to put his own stuff on hold and actually be there for her too, because right now it looks like she's just trying to figure out him and trying to accommodate him. I do also think he has to keep in mind that making heavy statements like that all the time could seriously impact and hurt her mental health too. It would be hard to feel like you're doing a good job as a partner if your partner's constantly walking around saying how they hate life and hate themselves. However, I do just want to stress I have a lot of empathy for Tristan. I just hope he can get through it and get through it too and not ruin a good relationship. Next, Tin Man and Lucinda get up. This is really painful. Lucinda's basically seen there going, he's a spunk, I want to jump him, he's really attractive and he just doesn't give me anything, he doesn't give me any intimacy. To which he then goes, oh, you know, it's going to be a slow burn, like that's how I am, like I'm not just going to want to do it straight away, it's a slow burn. You need to remember the fact that Tin Man said it's a slow burn.
He's a total spunk. You'd be crazy not to.
Lucinda's a very touchy-feely person. I'm just not. I've always said I'm a slow burn. Like, when you don't push me, I'll come forward. I've always said I'm a slow burn.
Because it comes back later and it's absolutely incredible. Next, we have Jack, the man bun villain, getting absolutely interrogated. They get up, Tori's like, yeah, I'm really enjoying our relationship. But then John just completely cuts to it and goes, you know what? We watched the dinner party. We found out that you had a girlfriend when you were applying for Married at First Sight. So tell us the timeline. And Jack starts just bullshitting. Jack starts trying to gaslight the entire room and goes, it's probably 5 to 6 weeks, actually 6 to 7 weeks ago, actually 8 to 9 weeks ago. John goes, can you just clarify the timeline for me? Were you with someone when applying for maths? And he goes, I've given you the weeks. You tell me, John. Obviously basically being like, yes, I just don't want to have to say yes out loud.
I ended that relationship as respectfully as I could.
How long ago?
6, 7 weeks, probably 7, 8 weeks now, so we've been in here a little while.
Because what I'm sitting here thinking, are you doing assessments with us while seeing somebody else?
Yeah, I guess it could. Yeah, I could have been. Yes, if that's the fact. Yes.
So, just to be clear, Jack, you were seeing someone else while you're talking to us.
Yes.
And he basically goes, I mean, if that's what you're saying, if you're saying that's what happened, I mean, I'm not going to argue. And it's like, yeah, they're not going to argue because that's the truth, you fucking idiot. Then we genuinely have one of the greatest moments in maths ever. You get like this amazing 3-way fight in the room. So essentially, John starts asking Jack, hey, Jack, you haven't been intimate with Tori. Why is that? You seem someone who's really sexually aggressive. Alessandra actually calls him out and says, hey, when I interviewed you, you said sex was really important. You do sex from the start of relationships, like you know straight away. So why aren't you sleeping with Tori? And then Jack goes, oh, you know, sometimes for me, like these sexual things need to be a slow burn.
We haven't been intimate yet. Okay.
It's very rare for me to just have an instant sexual connection with someone, which we've discussed.
That's not something I would have expected you to say. It is an area that we spoke at length about, the way you like to express yourself. When you feel that sexual attraction, and especially with the physical body language being also so comfortable and connected.
We're not here just to have a short-term relationship built on lust and a sexual connection.
Bullshit.
Do you feel sexually attracted to Tori?
I do. I think she's gorgeous. But the sexual spark with Tori, it is a slow burn.
Guess who starts laughing at his expense and starts invalidating what he said? Fucking Tin Man, who earlier said that for him and Lucinda, it's slow burn. So clearly, just FYI, total projection on Tin Man's part, because Tin Man knows that the truth is he's not attracted to Lucinda. It's not a whole slow burn thing, but he's taking that and projecting it onto Jack. Tim is obviously laughing here because he knows it's bullshit, because it's bullshit he's spinning to Lucinda.
Calling bullshit on it.
The sexual spark with Tori, it is a slow burn.
Calling bullshit on
it. Yeah. The sex will come.
Did Tim say bullshit? Like Tim hasn't been saying the exact same shit to Lucinda?
Yeah.
The sex will come.
Hold your thought. Timothy, what's going on?
Tim!
You are laughing over there, chuckling even.
But yeah, basically Tim says to the experts, oh, I think he's bullshitting. That slow burn thing, like, does he seriously expect us to buy that? And it's like, bro, you said that before with Lucinda. But anyway.
I think there's more cracks in the room than everyone wants to admit.
Do you consider us not sleeping together a crack?
What are you getting at, Timothy?
Like the slow burn thing doesn't add up.
He keeps laughing and egging on Jack, and Jack's like, come on, mate. And then old man Richard jumps in and goes, actually, I need to step in here. Jack did actually say at the Bucks night that he might not sleep with someone on the first night. He sometimes needs time for a connection to build. However, Tin Man said he would love to clap cheeks on the first night, and my jaw was on the floor.
Well, actually, the conversation came up on the Bucks night. Would you sleep with your partner on the first night, okay? Jack, you were like, no way, I'm gonna take my time and all that, yeah? You were, I would, first night.
Wait.
You were not the slow burn guy on the Bucks night, okay? I have to
Wait, who's he throwing that at? Timothy.
Timothy!
Fuck! That's what you get.
So you were not the slow burn guy on the Bucks night, okay? I have to point that out.
May I bring it back over here a little bit?
Dude, Jack's just like, yeah, so anyway.
It's good for Jack. I mean, like, what Richard said is, like, Jack's like, yeah, baby. Because Timothy can't be defending. Like, I agree with you. Timothy coming out being like, I think the slow burn's bullshit. It's like, that's the excuse you're using to not fuck your wife.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
Like, Tin Man got shot into the fucking ground. Tin Man was sitting there laughing at Jack's expense with Lucinda. They were bonding over torturing Jack, right? Richard comes in and just completely steamrolls him. And then it hard cuts to Lucinda looking at Tin Man like he's just a complete asshole. It's hilarious. And obviously she's giving him that look because he's been spinning to her, oh yeah, it's a slow burn, like I really need time. When in reality he was bragging to the boys that he was looking forward to clap cheeks on the first night. Hilarious. He is not able to communicate with Lucinda successfully for the rest of the night. Every time it cuts to him making a snarky remark to Lucinda, she's just sitting there like, is that right? Tin Man. Next, the boring couple, Ben and the chick, get up on the couch. Ben now clarifies. Instead of saying the whole, like, I'm open to not having kids, he essentially says, you know, like, if I was single, I wouldn't really want kids, but, you know, maybe, like, with the right person, like, maybe she can change my mind on that. So we know this relationship's not going to work. This is on the way out. He clearly doesn't want kids. I feel like he wants to clap cheeks once and then leave. Also, I'm calling it, there is no way that this couple has sex while on this show. She's going to leave him when she realizes that he's a completely emotionally detached, avoidant asshole. Like, they are not going to be able to form a good connection at all after that whole baby thing, because he can't even say to her and give her a straight answer. Like, fuck that guy. He's done. Then we have whatever the fuck Collins and Natalie was. We just have a complete and utter montage of Collins cringe. Just painful Collins cringe. This needs to be seen to be believed. Basically, he gets up with Natalie. Natalie goes, I don't really trust him. I don't trust anything he says. He feels really disingenuous, which is something that all of Australia agrees with. We all think he's an actor. There are all these posts on Reddit being like, is Collins the first ever AI in a human body? Like, what is going on? No one thinks Collins is acting normal. He's really weird. He's constantly dodging very normal questions, and he gives these awful performances pretending to care about things that he clearly doesn't care about. So yeah, she goes, I don't trust him. And he goes, oh my God, you don't, hearing that you don't trust me just hurts so bad. What do you mean you don't trust me?
And that's why I said leave.
Okay. And for you, Collins, stay or leave? What did you decide?
And I'm absolutely heartbroken. This is the first time I'm hearing Nat doesn't trust me. I don't know what I've done to or said to lose that trust.
So, Collins, what is your decision?
Mate, I'm sorry, but how can you write leave when we haven't even started this experiment? We haven't done life together. And see, oh my God.
They have this amazing confrontation between John and Colin. John, the expert, starts going, do you actually have feelings for Natalie? Like, can you just confirm, do you have feelings? And he goes, you know, like, I think she's a top girl. Like, yeah, like, you know, like I could see myself maybe. And John's like, the way you're talking sounds like you're describing your mother. Just cut it to us straight. It does not sound like you like her. Like, please just say it. And he goes, oh, you know, like, I'm just not sure. Like, I just got married.
Let's get specific on this, Collins. How have you showed Natalie that, you know, you're, you know, connected with her?
Well,
what affection have you showed Natalie?
Well, I feel... I haven't done too much in that, but I'm really struggling.
He just keeps doing that weird acting thing that Collins loves to do. Then there's this other moment where Natalie goes, oh, I'm grieving. I was feeling socially isolated at the dinner party and you ran off from me when you said we were going to stay together. And then you said I was being sour and I was being negative without even noticing that I was sad the entire night. John then questions Collins on this and goes, why don't you care about her? Why weren't you like looking out for her? Do you actually care about her? John then goes to make a point that I think was going to be, whether she's grieving or not, grief aside, you still need to be emotionally there for your partner just because she's grieving. Essentially saying, even if she wasn't grieving the death of her dad, you still should be trying to be there for her just because she's your partner. Collins then gets like really reactive and argumentative and starts going, John, I'm sorry. We can't just put grief aside because grief is having a huge impact on our relationship. I was like, dude, are you fucking serious? Like, Collins is about to get up and go, actually, her grief is ruining the relationship. It's not my shit.
Because so far since the beginning of the experiment, it has been prevalent that Nat's grief, the grief that she's feeling, has been a huge, huge part of this experiment.
Grief aside, to the best of her ability, she has been present.
Sorry, you just said grief aside.
Because I'm trying to make a point that...
I'm sorry, if we're being honest, I don't agree with you. I don't think it's grief aside. You can't just put grief aside. I'm sorry. This is a huge, huge factor. And
no one's saying that the grief is not playing into this.
You know what, John, let me tell you, okay?
I haven't finished talking.
It's not my weird bullshit caricature of what a normal person is. It's her grief, and that is relevant, and we can't put that aside. So fucking strange. Like, genuinely such an awful, toxic angle to take. John cuts this off and goes, actually, no, I am going to put grief aside because that's not the point I'm making. They start arcing up at each other. The whole room's reactions are genuinely fucking incredible. Like, hilarious. John just keeps going and going and going and going, you're disingenuous, you need to sort your shit out. It's unbelievable. Just such good Collins cringe.
And see, oh my God. Oh.
We don't get let off the hook. We get one final great Collins performance where Natalie writes leave. She goes, I can't trust him. I can't be around him. Leave, which all of Australia at this point would do. For those of you who don't know, in Married at First Sight, if one partner writes leave at the end of the week and the other one writes stay, they have to stay. It is only when both people say leave. So you get these great hostage situations where someone goes, I can't fucking stand this guy. Please let me go. And the other guy goes, whoop, you're stuck with me for another week. Let's see if we can make this happen. And then they fight for another week. That's all you need to know. So Natalie goes leave. Collins is like, oh no. Oh, what am I going to do? I need to do what's right for me because I want a relationship and I want this to work, but who am I to write stay if she doesn't want to be here? The whole room is not buying it. They're all going, what the fuck is this about? And then Collins has the audacity to go, I just, this is going to be the first time in the relationship I do something for me and write stay. And it's like, this is the first time you've done something for you. Every single date you went on was about you. You ignored her at the other thing. Everything has been about you. You haven't done one thing for her. You haven't engaged with intimacy. He couldn't even jump on the bed in the first episode. And he's going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, this is the first time I'm thinking about me. Dude, shut the fuck up.
So, Colin, show me the card. What did you decide to do, stay or leave?
What can I do? Either I'm thinking and putting myself first, or I'm being selfish and I'm not putting my wife's feelings first.
We just want a decision.
Oh my God. I've done everything I can for Nat, but for the first time, I've put myself and what I want, and I haven't given this a proper shot, which is why I wrote, want to stay, mate.
So he writes stay to the dismay of literally everyone in that room. John looks genuinely sad with this outcome. Then Collins, he can't just leave it. He can't just walk back to the couch and sit there. He has the audacity to get up and like a wounded fucking dog do this like sad boy thing to John. Oh my God, I hated it. Let me demonstrate what he could have done. He didn't get up and go, thanks, John. He gets up and does this whole like, you know, this whole like, oh, I can't even look. I'm so hurt. John, you really came for me. You bruised my ego. You hurt my feelings. I'm so sad. I'm sad because Natalie's leaving. I was like, dude, no one is buying it. Tim's reaction, by the way, to Collins' shit is fucking hysterical. This whole episode was a masterwork in just cringe great reality TV. One final thing I forgot though, Tim and Sarah, oh my god, I was right. Remember in the first episode I went, I didn't like how mad Sarah still seemed about that bad date she had. It felt like there was a very mean, vindictive nature still inside her. Then I didn't really like her whole tequila blow up. Also, I forgot to mention their honesty task was he wrote a confession letter where he talked about the fact that he was cheated on and has trust issues. Her honesty task was to do the phone sharing task and she flat out refused. Now here's the thing, I agree that it's probably not the greatest moment of trust if you have to like share your phone with your partner. However, they are on a show where they know these tasks are coming. She's presented with the option instead of being like, oh look, if you really want to, here you go. And he has the option to go, don't worry about it. She literally goes, I don't like this task and if you trust me, like you won't need to do this. Like, why would we do this? I just don't get it. We're not doing it. Instantly feels defensive, instantly feels suspicious. How adamant she was about not doing it is the sus thing. Obviously she can think it's a stupid task, but she can talk to him about that and still be like, look, if you want to, here you go. But she didn't. I saw some TikToks online being like, he has trust issues for being suspicious about this. And it's like, no, that was really suspicious behavior. You know, imagine if your partner's like, oh, can I just order the food on your phone? And you go, no, give me the phone. Like, it's just sus. It's just sus. And like, oh my God, we're here at the commitment ceremony and Tim genuinely feels like he's got battered wife syndrome. He feels like he can't get a word in. It literally feels like someone who's the victim of like emotional abuse. He can't speak up. He's too scared to talk. She cuts him off and manipulates the conversation every time he tries to talk. The experts sniff this out and go, actually, Tim, we want to hear from you. Do you feel safe expressing your feelings? And he finally cracks and goes, I don't feel safe expressing my feelings. I'm scared she's going to fly off the handle and turn her on me. Again, classic signs of like emotional abuse. And then they go and sit down after this massive revelation that, yeah, essentially he just is walking on eggshells all the time. They get back, sit on the couch, and he goes, sorry about that. Like, I'm sorry. And instead of going like, it's all right, like, that was hard, like, let's talk about it, she goes, we'll talk about that when we get home. Like, he's gonna get like a mug thrown at him or get yelled at. Like, oh my God. And we see in the preview that like this is gonna escalate. I feel really bad for Tim. I feel like I misjudged him a bit. I was a bit harsh on him in the first week. And honestly, I've been really mean to a lot of the guys here. I don't like Sarah. I don't think this is gonna be a good relationship for Tim. I think it's gonna seriously hurt his mental health. And on top of that, we've seen how she looks back on that guy that she offered to pay for that time. I just feel like any issue he raises is gonna be turned back on him or made like a women's issue like it was with the vodka, which puts him in a completely impossible position to ever defend himself. On top of that, I just feel like if he says, oh, the way she talks to me is really like intimidating and imposing, which they mentioned, she's just gonna go, oh, so you're intimidated by a strong woman. And it's like, no, he's not intimidated by a strong woman. He's intimidated by someone who's coming off as like a clear narcissist. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll do a weekly recap next week. Let me know what else you'd like to meet. If you enjoyed this recap, please click like and subscribe. Let me know what else you'd like me to talk about and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.